I could change this situation, but I think it looks really cool, so I'm going to leave it. This is a collective reading for y'all. We have Gemini, Uranus, and the fourth house coming up as the theme here. And the sense I'm getting is that this has a lot to do with the way that we communicate, especially the way that we communicate with family, the way that we communicate with the people we live with the people that we are raised with. And it could also be communication with ourselves and sort of a younger version of ourselves too. I'm feeling potentially some like inner child healing stuff coming up here. I say all this because off of the week ahead tarot scope that I just posted, I had two of the same cards come out. And so it feels like an elaboration of that reading, which you might want to go back and watch after this if you haven't already seen it. It's my last video. But the sense here with the Knight of Swords, the Two of Cups reversed, the Two of Swords, and the World coming up is that there's something that's being brought to conclusion. We have a full moon in Gemini, and that is kicking off our week. I'm recording this on November 26th, Sunday. And it feels as though there's some sort of apex moment where we gain clarity potentially about a relationship that has gone awry, or potentially about ongoing patterns in our life that are a reflection of a younger, unhealed part of us that's really yearning for connection. So again, after the Knight of Swords and the Two of Cups reversed, which feels like communicating about a fissure in a relationship or many relationships, or like a focus more on our relational dynamics and the parts of ourselves that are coming up and getting triggered and exposed, and the parts of us that feel vulnerable. All of that is on the table, especially as we move into this Venus South Node conjunction, where there's a lot of old buried stuff from our past that is coming up to the surface and showing up in our present day relationships. And so for a lot of us, that could look like us feeling triggered. It could look like us feeling set off or uncomfortable, or just sort of getting the sense that old patterns are repeating themselves, or that like we're caught up in a dynamic that feels really familiar. And that doesn't have to be negative per se. That doesn't have to be harmful or like problematic. It could be that we're revisiting an old dynamic because it's actually lovely, or an old relationship because it's lovely. I will say that we do have a Venus-Pluto square, so that's kind of less likely to be lovely. It's more likely to be kind of sticky and icky as we move into the later part of this week especially. But know that whatever is coming up for you is here in part because it's mirroring something back to you that you maybe weren't super conscious of or aware of. And so if you find yourself stumbling on your words, stumbling on your choices, and kind of feeling like, I've been here, done that, why am I repeating this pattern? Try to practice some compassion with yourself and some patience, and recognize that whatever it is that you're moving through and being shown in this moment is simply kind of inviting you into more awareness. And often awareness kind of sucks and it hurts a little bit, or it's a little bit like, just hard to look at. And there might be some shame that comes up because Pluto often brings us into shame. And when we have a Venus-Pluto square, it can lead us to feel really obsessive and fixated on kind of the object of our affection. And I use the word object there kind of intentionally because often when we fall into deep obsession with another person, we are in a way objectifying them, and sort of there's like an element of control and fixation that goes into that, where it's like, I am obsessed with you because I see you as this like thing, as opposed to kind of appreciating the whole of who you are. And so just understand that if that comes up for you, like, it's extremely human, and to try your best to not pathologize it so much as you do like practice ease and come back to yourself and breathe and spend time with people that you have a more grounded connection with, because it'll help you sort of level that off and find a little bit more balance. I realize I'm talking really time specific here about kind of the week of November 26th to December 2nd. But the astrology is just really ripe here. And with this full moon energy, it's liable, or it's likely that we will kind of see something come to fruition and maybe have an aha moment, a point of clarity, kind of a punctuation mark, at the end of a sentence where it's like we've realized something about ourselves, the way that we communicate and the way that we interact. And with Gemini, that could be friendships. That came up in the week ahead too, is like this could really be highlighted in our friendships and in the way that we relate to the people that we have more platonic relationships with, in addition to our family, in addition to our romantic relationships and our work relationships and all kinds. And so the feeling that comes here with the Two of Swords and the World, though, is that there is this sense of conclusion and finality. I'm covering it because she's naked. The Two of Swords is an invitation to make a decision. And maybe that decision is to close the door on an old chapter of our lives, or to close the door on an old way of operating in relationships. Maybe there's something that we've really kind of like worn out, that we've done it so many times and we've matured beyond it, but we keep revisiting this old pattern, or we keep showing up in the same way because it's familiar as opposed to aligned with who we are and who we've become. And so I think that for a lot of us, it's us making the choice to step into a new way of relating. And with Uranus as part of our theme here, that could initiate some really powerful change that could happen faster than you expect. The Knight of Swords here is fast energy too. And so it's like, maybe I'm accelerating into kind of a new operating mode here. And I notice myself doing it and I'm like, wow, I didn't think that could happen so fast. But remember that this isn't just a random occurrence. This is sort of the culmination of months and years and a lifetime of growing and healing that you've done as a person. So appreciating that progress that you see now and making the choice to kind of like keep going in that direction when the opportunity presents. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer recorded and live tarot, astrology, and Akashic Records readings. My prices are going up on December 4th, so this is the last stretch to lock in my current rates, and you can find the link in my bio. Take care.